I remember what you wrote me briefly. The thing that caught my attention with the birth chart was when I looked at it and I saw how everything was going around, and it had
Mm-hmm.
me. That was during the Ramadan time when I was fasting. I was like, damn, this shit looks actually like what my life is like. Cause I'm from Galveston Island. My first 9 years I stayed in San Bernardino, California. So
Mm-hmm.
we was always moving. We didn't have time for sandbox friends and all that bullshit. So I pretty much moved around a lot and never had a stable life. Now I ran away from home when I was like 4 years old. So I've always had
Mm.
this thing to want getting up and going and just leave, just disappear and just catch out. That's always been my MO. So just by me uh, being here where I'm at now, finding some stability. So a lot of things for me to collect together myself, and I understand now why I'm here, or why I've been in certain place, been here for a certain good amount of time now. A lot of things are able to for me to sit my ass down, and everything's starting to come to me now. Like that's how I was able to find my father because I'm not on about moving and mobbing all the time.
Mm.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. You
yeah, being homeless, all that shit, man. Like seriously, like I get
okay?
it.
Well, shit. Let's just get right on into it then, because you pretty much gave well, to let the people in. Uh, you're now tuned in to the Think Music Podcast. This is Jamal, aka the Gnosis, aka the Word,
Peace. This is Dap Dunlap.
and
Peace, is
we
brother Williams.
got a guest on tonight, Brother Williams. He's a family, you know, been rocking um what at least 2-3 years, you know.
Yeah, yeah, all right.
So this is a brother I always mention when I talk about the book Nature Speaks, you know, a very um important piece of literature, you know, in my collection, and I refer to all the time. Matter of fact, this week, you know, had a blue jay come and sit up on um, the fence in the backyard. It was a blue jay first, then about 10 minutes later, cardinal come and sit in the exact same spot.
Wow.
So I went and referred to, you know, and read up on that. Then I go outside yesterday morning to set the recycling out, and 18 wheeler come by. I can see down on the street, and it's got cardinal on the trailer. So
Wow.
It's crazy.
I just now seen the cardinal bird in the backyard. So yeah, so I use that book quite a lot. But tonight we doing something. And what's up, Triple JC? If you and Serious Biz.
Peace, Triple JC. Serious Biz. What's going on, everybody?
Dap, can you turn your mic up just a little bit?
All right.
Yeah,
How's that? All
yeah,
right.
that's better. Okay, so um first, happy birthday to Brother Williams, or let me say it the conscious way. Happy solar return, brother.
No doubt.
Oh, shade,
You
brother.
can't say birthday no more. It's got to be solar return, beloved. You know.
Oh, shade, brother.
No doubt.
You know.
Happy birthday, fam.
Did you sage your home before the sun rose above the eastern horizon?
Well, quite frankly, brother Jamal. Oh, word.
Yeah, so we told Brother Williams that he was, you know, we'd be open to him choosing the topic for the night. and he emailed me and said he didn't really have anything, but he did mention a word that really stuck out. And I was like, based on that, I was like, how you feel about we reread your chart, you know? And he agreed. So, you mind if I share the word that you?
Rock out, bro.
He said the word was feeling overwhelmed, and I was like, the moment I saw it, I was like, damn, that's the show. That's what we need to talk about. Because I don't think it's not just him. I think that's the energy that a lot of people are feeling.
Right.
Overwhelmed, you know. I'm
Yep.
trying to find I'm trying to find my calendar with the because right now we got a lot of water in the um, a lot of water activity right now. We got Jupiter and Neptune are in Pisces. Both are now retrograde. We have Venus Venus, the Sun, and what else? Venus and the Sun are in Cancer. So those are all water. Let me see. Let me see. We got what else we got in water right now? I think that's it. But it just made me, like if you in a pool of water and you duck your head under, you're gonna be covered with water, right?
Right.
And it's like that line right up with the concept of being overwhelmed, all this water, and a lot of times people make it like, you need to be in control of your emotions, and which we do, you know, but sometimes in the midst of all that, emotions can be made out to be something superficial or something that makes you weak, you know.
Right.
Um, but just coming from the standpoint of playing sports, when you're injured, water is your best friend. You know, after a game, uh, you're going to sit in the ice bath. Um, you might go down and have treatment in the whirlpool where, you got the hot water. But either way, the prime element for healing is water, you know.
We
And
drink a
I think,
we drink a lot of water.
say that again,
We supposed to drink a lot of water.
we're supposed to drink a lot of water. Our bodies are like 75% water, you know. So if we shun the water that's in us, the emotions,
Mhm.
it's almost, counterproductive, you know. So I was like, man, I just wanted to pull your chart up and let's just take a look at it, and you chime in whenever you want, and Dap, let's just y'all chime in whatever y'all, what I'm saying, and I'm gonna share the
That
screen here. What's
Okay.
that,
the
brother?
most interesting thing when Dap and I was speaking earlier was you were speaking on doing listening to meditation. So uh, I've been doing that quite some time for like a few years now, and I found some 11-hour meditations on YouTube that I've been listening to, and
Mm,
that's what helps me out balance out a lot of things
yes.
and that's going on. Like, but right now I'm listening to 11-hour rain meditations for insomnia.
Mhm.
I don't have insomnia, but it helps me knock right
Yeah.
out.
Me and Brianna, we listen to Hertz music when we go to sleep. Also, we've been doing that. We may have been doing that for like a year and a half now. I remember one time we put it on, bro. It had us zoned out. Like, I mean, we was gone. Like, I put it on. I used to have my setup in our bedroom, and
Mhm.
she was like, "Let's try it with the through the stereo." So I was like, "All right." And usually we just have it running on our phone, but then I set it up. We ran it through the stereo, and bro, we was zoned out. Like when I woke up, it was like I was coming back into my body, bro. I don't know where I was, but we was zoned.
Mm.
We was like, yeah, I don't know if we should do that again. Like, like we was super tapped in because it, like I said, it was a little different than just on the phone. Because that's how we used to do it. But then really having that music enveloping you in your room, like it was a whole
Mhm.
different experience. So I like to put that on when I meditate, also, fam.
I found another one for what was it? To heal yourself from old wounds and stuff like that. I found that like during Ramadan,
Okay.
and man, I woke up one day and all those damn memories just started just popping up in my head. All that shit just like dissipated. So I've been sitting around here numb as hell, like just speechless. It's like, damn,
Mm.
that shit gone. I'm like, the hell going on? Because I still had the other thoughts of balancing out the stuff, me meeting my father, and then I'm always talking to my younger sister on my father's side because she's a Scorpio. So me and her,
Mm.
like, she balances me out, and it's like me and her automatically connecting. It's like we've been talking since we grew up together or something. So
Okay.
I'm always talking to
Mm.
her. She helps me. Um, 'Cause I can talk to her about stuff like, man, some of this shit feel numb as hell. I'm like, damn, I still wake up sometimes like, damn, I can't believe like I've actually, like met my father and I got like three sisters on his side and I got my own sister. I mean, I got different fathers, you know what I mean? So, but it's just crazy. I'm the only son out
Mm.
of, yeah. So that be on my mind too. Is like, but damn, it gives you a lot of shit to think about, you know what I mean? Outside the box, it's like, damn, man. And then even when I talk to him sometimes, I don't talk to him all the time, but when I do, I hear him speak, and just naturally, I'd be like, for instance, we had a conversation. I was like, "Hey, Pop, you left-handed, ain't you?" He's like, "Yeah, son. How you know that?" I was like, "Cause I can do stuff with my left hand, and I'm right-handed, but I can do stuff with my left." And I knew I got it from, cause it helped me balance. I'm starting to see more of what I get from him versus what I already know what I get from my mother's side. And both of these bloodlines is like a mirror reflective mirrors of each other. Cause
Your
we
pops
both have.
left-handed.
Yeah, I know you left-handed.
Mm-hmm.
See,
That's tripped out.
I be paying attention to detail. I pay attention. I'm an observer, bro. Like I sit back and observe everything. I don't do a lot of talking. I don't never had friends. I don't get into that, to each his own. But I always like he wrote something, gave me something on my birth chart. I was interested. It said a strong exterior but soft on inside. I didn't buy that at one bit. I knew exactly what he was talking about because I was treated like that all my damn life because I
Mm,
how my frame was, but I got a deep ass voice. And then they once somebody see me, they automatically think it's something weak or soft about me because of how I look. But I was always quiet, and I'm the type of person like I'm gonna let you keep pulling that damn rope till you get to that black line, and I'm gonna show you who I really am when you push me to that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really just snap, be quick to react on stuff. So I'm more observer, let other stuff just pretty much pass on. Because all those years, my mind was still stuck on when you 13 years old and your mother tell you your sister father that's from New Orleans, that ain't your daddy. Damn, that kind of fuck your whole shit up. So, you know what I mean? You going to school and, oh, go ahead, brother Jamal.
No, go ahead. No, just go.
Yeah, I was like,
Your chart is
you,
running through my head as you talk.
yeah, and that's why yeah, so it's like, damn, man, it's like moving here, you get settled, and this and that, and then you thinking your sister daddy is your old man and all that, and then you know, because the way our mother raised it was like, she don't play all that half brother and half sister shit. Like fuck that. That's your brother and sister. You don't do all that half shit. Really, y'all got different dads and fathers. This family, goddamn, like we don't. She don't care about all that, and she always
Right.
told what was in us. That's why I had to do like some people with the lost perception of not who in the hell we are. You know what I mean? So I already had that understood. Like I know I got Creole in me. I know I got Cherokee and Blackfoot in me. I didn't have no problem with that because y'all you can do certain stuff. She be like, "Boy, that's that Creole in you, or that's the Indian in you. That's the Cherokee or somebody." You
Right.
know. Then when I got like to an age or something, about 13, when we staying in I think let me see, we stayed in Cali for. I was born in '77 on Galveston Island, so we stayed in Cali in San Bernardino for like I was like 9.5. Then we moved to Texas. Stayed in Houston for a minute, then we moved to Galveston Island. I was at peace, man. She's like, "This is where you from. This is why I birthed you. This is where you from." So I'm like, "Damn, I liked it because that's a dream come true. Every day you can get up and go to the beach. I'm talking about
Yeah.
fishing before it was a damn fish fly. I'm talking about we go find a house spot, get crowd, come home. She like, what y'all want to eat today? Y'all want some gumbo? Like, yeah, y'all want fried, baked, what? Like, then when I got to about 13, that's when she actually told me that my sister daddy was my father, so it kind of fucked my head up, man. I'm like, huh? So
Right.
I'm the type of person with me, I don't like asking a lot of questions. I like to take things that an elder tell me, be quiet, keep it to myself. You know, like most people like, well, what about this? Did it? I didn't do all that. I just kept my mouth closed and took the jewels and figure out. It might take some days, some months, some years, but eventually I was going to figure out what it was. So him, her telling me that, he was always on my mind all the time. It's like, what I got from him, how tall he is, what he sound like, do I look like him? When you get mad at me, do I remind you of my daddy or something? But I was so intimidated to ask my mama anything because I didn't like asking questions. So when I got about 15, and eventually I had to stay with my aunt going to high school. I went to high school with Charles Lewis, and asked my aunt, like, man, I want to find my daddy because my aunt stayed with my aunt. She was like, they couldn't figure out what was going on with me with school because my focus wasn't there. My grades was slick when I got to about high school. So she was like, my auntie would have me go talk to a counselor or a psychiatrist, and like, you perfectly normal. Like, I don't know what's wrong with you. I mean, you fine to me. Like, there's nothing really going on. But I was just more depressed because of the trauma that I had to see my moms go through with that fucking drug shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So
That'll work. That'll work on you.
yeah, I know I'm jumping here and there, but I'm just giving you bits and pieces of who I am, like why I turn out the way I am now. It's like,
It's all
um,
good.
um, so my RP to my great grandmama Cleopatra, she born October 11th.
Mm.
Mm,
Okay,
mm.
see, I took her
Born
to
a
the
lamb.
grave my first time. Yeah, she made a transition March 12th, so I was
Mm,
a pallbearer at her. Man, I remember this like it was yesterday. So I told my mom, like, look, I want to see my daddy. She was like, well, we're gonna have to take you to like your mama dear house. She ain't like nobody calling her Cleopatra. So I'm like, all right. She stayed in Third Ward in Houston. So she came out the door and she was like, "Ooh, child, why I sure can't wait to this day to come, baby. You have every right to know who your father is." So she
Mm.
gave me. She went in the house, come back out. You had the picture. She said, "I want you to make a copy of this, bring me back. I want you to keep this picture. Don't you ever lose it." So I'm looking at the picture, looking at his face and everything. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I see what I look like. Okay, I get that right, man. Okay."
hmm,
Took the
hmm.
picture, and I've been holding on that picture. I lost it uh, when I moved out here, whatever, whatnot. But yeah, man. So I got close to meeting my pops like back in '09 before technology started kind of getting. a little better because that's when Facebook was out, but everybody wasn't rocking with it like that. And I met a
Mm-hmm.
brother at a job I used to work in Houston, and he was a security guard, brother from Alabama. And he was like, man, my wife was stationed in Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi, man. He said, what's your old man name is again? He said, you got a picture of him? I'm like, yeah, I got a picture of my mom too. Boom. Show him picture. He like, man, yo, man, so look familiar, man. He said, man, you don't mind if I take this picture of your own blood, take to my wife, huh? I'm like, nah, bro, I don't mind that. So come back the next day. He said, man, I took the picture of my wife. She was like, man, cause my wife used to work at the mess hall, Keesler Air Force Base. Like, okay. He's like, man, this is what I did for you, bro. So he gave me a couple of numbers. So you got to think, I was like early 30s or something. I think Mike Jack had passed around that year. No, my B day.
Mm.
When I did that shit, make an attempt to find him. So he gave me a couple of phone numbers. And I ain't gonna lie, I was kind of scared and shocked because I'm like, what the hell I'm gonna say? How I'm gonna start with that shit like, hey man, I'm your son. And then it was just a fear of rejection, like, man, I don't know you, man. I don't have nothing to do with you. So let my mind psych me the hell out. So I just put it off and left it alone. And then, to speed the process up by 20, shit, I say about 2017 or something like that. I started getting on Google to search the man up. Because one thing I knew for sure that my mom told me, uh, I did have an older sister. So that always stuck in my mind too. So I got on there and I found them on. Wait a minute. Matter of fact, it was probably a little later than that because I think when Brother Jamal was did something on YouTube to my house, some of us had fucked up as family members. And some of your family members was fucked up too. And I was like, hey, bro. I was in the channel, like, hey, bro, I found that. He was like, he stopped the bitch. He was pissed off. He was like, all right, bro, that's good, man. That's good. So what I did was I found them on YouTube. So my sister, she's a computer, like a computer whiz, know all this technology. Cause I'm not technical with the technology like that. She was like, gave me some YouTube stuff. Got the man on there preaching and everything. So I was just sitting there like, out of all the I finally can see how this man talk and listen to him and hear him speak and everything, man. And then I kind of fell off from that. Cause I didn't want to do it no more. So my sister was like, "No, after that, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna keep doing it." I said, "No, just leave it alone, sis." She was like, "No, hell no, fuck that, man. 'Cause I don't like seeing the shit you go through." So she said, I'm gonna keep up with it." I said, "Well, that's cool, man. Cause I'm kind of like pretty much at that time kind of burnt out on it." Then I'm gonna have to say, I'm like, "Well, damn, why the hell I'm doing all this? He ain't make no attempt to find me. Then it ain't meant to be." I started. I wasn't kind of being humble. I was kind of getting kind of pissed off with the shit.
Mm-hmm.
Then last year I did a meditation and man, I went to work that night. So I'm at work because I work graveyard shift. I'm at work. And, you just waking up out your sleep, going about your day, whatever. If you work or got your own business, whatnot, you trying to get your body adjusted, your faculties together, I should say. And I
Mm-hmm.
look at the text messages. Like my sister sent me a text. She like, these are three sisters and your dad. I found them. Whoop whoop, this and that and the third, and such and such. I'm looking at the picture. I'm like, damn. I'm like stuck looking at my three sisters and my pop in this picture. So she said, I found your other sister, and she's like, what you want me to tell her? I'm like, shit, I don't know. Shit, I don't know what to start with this shit. I'm like, tell me what you want to tell her. Like, I don't know how to go about this shit. I'm like lost for words, man. So she like, well, fuck it. I'm just gonna tell them whoop whoop this and that and third. So she ended up talking to my middle sister. That's a Pisces, Yolanda. She drive trucks. Boom. I get home, man. Get off in the morning. I lay in the bed. I cut a meditation. I turn my back, and the first thing in my inner mind, I was like, I was thinking about what had happened that night, and I laid down. I said, it'd be my surprise while I'm 5 minutes into this meditation, the phone ring. It's gonna be my sister. Lay down. Why the hell I say that? Phone ring. Hey, this Yolanda, this your sister. I know who this is. Like, what's up? She like, then we had a conversation. I'm like, what's going on? And she was like, man, this is something different to me. So I gave it a whole rundown on everything, how I knew it was my father, this and that and the third. And I know it's my father because one thing I know, two things for certain, is like back in like the elders, you can take a child in front of the elder and have no father or a mother, they can look at that child and say, that's such and such child or son or you know what I mean? Because they not pay attention to facial features. Family features ain't gonna never lie. So
Mm-hmm.
when she talked, I talked to her and I talked to him. Man, do you know when I talked to my father, me and that man stay on the phone for 8 hours.
Mm.
He wasn't so too much so, but I understand I respect him as a man, but it was just he was so in shock how humble I was and how I was sticking to how I was raised and molded on what the hell my elders told me. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, this your daddy. And my mom ain't got no reason to lie because back in them times, it wasn't all this old willy and dilly crap going on where it's a bunch of lost children running out and you don't know who's who or whatnot. So when I talked to him, and I told him, like, look, man, my mom's raised me, my grandma raised me, my great grandmama told me to keep this picture, and she know that's you. I know it's you, and I said I can see it. I said, ain't nobody got these Mark Lawrence ass ears and this thick ass whisper Mexican looking ass mustache I got in my family. So he was like, I understand and respect what you're saying, son, but I just want to for myself, I just want to take a blood test. I was cool. I was like, bro, you do whatever you want to. I already know what the lick gonna read when it come back. So I
Mm.
left it at that. He paid for the test, took the DNA test, came out. He called me when I got fresh out the shop. He was like, you sitting down, son, you ready for that? I'm like, Pop, I already told you what the business was from the get. I said, go on ahead though. 99.9999. You are my son. And he's so uh surprised. He's like, man, one thing I can say about you, you are a very humble young man. And what moved me about you is how you stuck to your story and your story didn't switch. I wasn't raised and molded that way, man. I don't
Mm.
want to talk too much, but I'll let you go in there and chime in, bro.
That's a lot, bro. I'm gonna tell you what. Everything you said shows why this astrology is some real motherfucking shit.
Facts.
Everything, cause I'm sitting here. I try to take a couple little notes. Um, you said you knew I was left-handed because you pay attention to everything.
Yes, sir.
You said at 13 you discovered um, that the man you thought was your father wasn't. That is key. I'm gonna tell you why in a minute. You also said you had reservations. I'm writing this down. Reservations about pursuing all this
Yeah.
several times, which is hell. It's
Right.
understandable. You know, just well, I don't know if my mama want me to. My mama's got a similar situation with her father. My mama's 74. You know, and she the man she thought has grown up her whole life thinking was her father. She's not quite sure that he is, and she cussed a lady out years ago. I don't know if it was somebody told her that this other guy was her father, and she cussed the woman out because. And what I have to do is put on my hat of empathy and say, because my first thought was like, damn, mama, you know. Then I have to think like how much of a shock this is. You know what I'm saying? Um, to have your world kind of shaken up. It's like
Oh yeah,
It's the equivalent of an earthquake.
yeah,
Um, so what I want to do is I just want to pull your if I'm gonna share the screen and pull your chart up. Um, this is just it's some amazing shit, man.
yeah. That's what I was saying when I saw the chart. I understood exactly what the lick read when it came to them damn lines because I knew what the hell I was looking at. Even though I didn't understand the shit that was going off on the side. Um, One thing I do know is when you did give me the information, uh, I found like little hints, and I clicked on where you got your information from, and I tapped into that and found out, how to what this is, and da 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 yada yada yada. So I just quietly uh connected with that, and that's what made me even get more quiet because I'm still. You gotta think like it's already one instance I'm around there balancing out the mother and father bloodline and see how they a reflection mirror of each other.
Hmm.
Because truthfully, brother, on some real shit, like my this is the other part of the story that I missed out, and I'm just gonna say this here. Uh, the reason why my mother and father didn't work out was because when they both were in the military in Biloxi, Mississippi, at Keefer Air Force Base, he wasn't honest. He was married already, so he had my
Whoa,
mother
okay.
do
I couldn't hear you. He wasn't what now?
it. The reason why it didn't work out between my mother and my father was because he was married. See, this is what she
Mm.
told me when I was uh we had a conversation about this, and I know I left that out when I turned 24 on my birthday. I was like, I just need a little bit more information about my pop. She said, well, look, when me and your father was in the Air Force together, we was talking. So he had me. They used to be cable slicers in the Air Force. So she said he had my mom's to print up his work order because he had a work order out in Spring, Texas or something. So she's like, all right, cool, no problem. So she say, man, I get to print up the work order form for Spring, Texas. And I look up, she say, man, this motherfucker got married and got a daughter. So she say she went to go charge the rope about it. I said, well, Dad, what did he say? He said he couldn't say no. He was just looking there. I said, pretty much looking like I do when I get buzzed for doing something. Had that bullshit look on her face. She's like, yeah. So I'm like, oh, all right. So when I came about, I was about before I found out she was pregnant with me. She asked him, uh, "Are you gonna whoop 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 do this and do that?" And then he's like, "Yeah, this and that." That never happened. Fell through. And see, the whole thing too, brother Jamal, was like, uh, same shit. Like my mom wasn't always in my life like that. But one thing I told her when I turned 40 years old, I said, "Mom, you know what? I still love you as my mother, but I always knew where to go find her." Because she wasn't this stable. Because one thing I know about family trauma, bro, we can't judge family members because we don't know what the hell they went through when they was grown coming up to make them do the shit they doing. See, I know how
Yeah.
to have conversations. I sold dope too. I ain't proud of that shit. My mama smoked that shit. But I told her, I said, I know why you smoked that. I said, can I ask you something? She's like, why? I said, you probably did that shit because my biological grandfather passed away when he was in high school. She didn't have no childhood life. She had to raise my uncle, man. He the baby. He
Right.
her like my mom, she exactly 54. I'm 44. Then you got my uncle I'm close with that's in the Philippines. He no, my mom's 64, my uncle 54. He the baby. And I am 44. So we in them sevens, you get me? So you got 1957, 67, and 77. I'm really connected with them.
Right.
I
Hmm.
understood my mom's story. I understood the trauma too. That's why I don't be sitting here judging folk because like I'm not having a good relationship with my mom's, which is my grandmother, because she's very quiet,
Mm.
and I can't be like asking questions. I sit and observe, and I let my inner self put the pitch out for me. So when I had that conversation, I told him I like I kind of understand why you went to drugs. You know what I mean? Because I said you gotta think about it. Because one thing my mom told us and raised us on. Always put the shoe on the other foot before you open your fucking mouth and ask yourself, how would that feel? Look at it from that person's perspective before you get to judging people. Put the shoe on the other foot first before you open your damn mouth.
You
So
know
I
what?
said, go ahead, bro.
Oh, my bad. I just wanted to chime in real quick with, Jamal saying that 77 through 84, we we're a uh we're a special segment of society for those
Yeah.
born in that time frame. And it's funny because your story is similar to mine. My
Right.
parents had active addictions when I was coming up, and
Mm-hmm.
I understood at 11 years old that I wasn't going to judge my parents on their lifestyle. Or now, mind you, we didn't our home life was my parents was functional addicts. So meaning they went to work, they had a job
Mm-hmm.
and all of that type of
Right.
stuff. So we had a home, but you know, whatever they was doing in private life, I was like, okay, they're not in their right mind because they're doing these other things. And at 11,
Right.
I knew, you know what I'm saying? Like I seen my pops OD. It was
Yeah.
crazy. And I just knew like, okay, something's not going on. But it's funny, like understanding this time frame of 72 through 84 now.
Mm-hmm.
There was something special on us that gave us understanding when we didn't even know what we was tapping into.
Right.
Now we're starting to understand it, with astrology and everything, and with the research the brothers done. But yo, we're a special group, bro. We the latchkey crib group. How we were sent home from school. Our parents had to work. We had to make sure we got home. Our siblings. We had a key to the door. Don't answer the phone. Don't open the door for nobody. You know what I'm saying? That's part of my story. But I know a lot of other kids that was the same way. You know what I mean? So we're a special group, man. You saying that just made me chime in on that, especially with that not judging your parents and other people
Right.
too. Not
Exactly.
understanding their situation. So I'm with you 100% on that, man.
Right. Right.
Yeah, yeah, it's heavy. Let's see. I'm just looking at this.
Mm-hmm.
Um. So, like you already know, your son. Let me see if I can pull something up the way I can move this around and, and create video music. Um, I'm just gonna move the cursor. That'll have to be good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so your son is in Cancer, and your ascendant is in Cancer.
Right.
So by nature, by nature, this shows you to be, and not to not to sound goofy or nothing, but it shows you to be a naturally deeply caring and feeling person. You know,
Yeah.
um, but like I told you, the thing I wrote up for you is what's unique about the the glyph associated, or the symbol associated with Cancer, is the crab. And the crab has this very, very hard shell.
Mm-hmm.
And crab meat is very expensive, you know, because of it's succulent, tender and all that. And so the crab develops this very hard shell to protect itself. And, as you talk, you know, um, I can hear, I can hear the protection, the need to protect, you know, um, and I can relate. It's funny because my moon is in Cancer. You know what I'm saying? And um, that energy makes that's the natural house of the moon,
Right.
and it makes you naturally intuitive. It makes you naturally caring about um, people in general. But it also, as we get older and as we live and age, we start to realize that, the bullshit in the world. You know what I'm saying? And then the necessity to protect ourselves
Right.
because, um, you know, some people, for you just can't be caring with everybody. We come to learn
Exactly.
that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so we all have this Cancerian energy, because we all got a moon in our chart, you know, and we all have ways of how we have to protect our jewels. Our deep emotions are our jewels. Um, but your Cancerian energy is very prominent because, like we say, your sun is in Cancer, and your sun is in the first house. You know, with your ascendant. Um, but one thing I just want to jump right to cut right to the chase. This is where it goes down in your chart right here. I'm gonna see if I can draw a little something on it.
Like, right.
This house right here.
Yeah, he
That's
got a
where it
lot going
goes
on
down.
right there.
Huh?
So it looked like he has a lot going on right there in that box.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. You know, let me erase this shit because this is okay. I just want so I can keep the chart as big as I can. God damn it. Okay. Now, these lines, that very thick line, this red line, you see that?
Yeah.
That's a square.
Okay.
That's a square. So what's going on is you got Mars at 14 degrees of Taurus in the 11th house. And I want to say this. I wrote this down. Uh I talked about divination, like using your cell phone last week, and how I'll hit uh shuffle. I'll ask a question, hit shuffle. And so I was doing something about my wife, about the business that she's gonna launch. And what came up was this song by Lil Brother. It's the last song on their last album called Work Through Me.
Mm.
It's and it is song number 15.
Mm.
Now I want you to hold on to that number 15, because I think 14 and 15 is the key numbers for you in your chart. Okay. Now first, this house right here, 11, is the equivalent of that song by Lil Brother that says "Work Through Me." Okay, why do I say that? The fifth house down here is the natural house of the sun, and the sun shines, right?
Right.
Well, the house that's across from it is the 11th house. This is the Aquarius house, and it is how the sun is expressed through you, just like this song, "Work Through Me."
Mm.
Now, I want you, if we take that and apply it to what's going on in this house, this Mars right here in your chart is telling you work through me.
Mm.
You know why I say that? Your chart, you see this look like a little kite, don't it? You see
Mm-hmm.
this? Well,
Yeah.
where's everything? Most of the action coming back to Mars, 14 degrees of Taurus. Mars is forming a square with Saturn. Mars is forming a quincunx with the moon. Now, a quincunx is this. It means when signs are 150 degrees from each other. So, opposition is the house that's directly across from it. So the fifth house opposes the 11th house. So here's the thing: if me and you got an opposition, we see eye to eye. I don't like you, motherfucker. You don't like me. That's an opposition. Okay.
Right.
A quincunx is this: we can't even see each other. Because if something's 150 degrees, it's like trying to see around a corner. You know something's around the corner, but you ain't sure what it is.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yep.
Okay, that's what
Yep.
a quincunx is. That means something's there, you just can't see eye to eye. Okay? So the next thing is you got Mars. This red line is Mars opposing Uranus in Scorpio. Then you got Mars forming another quincunx. That means it's 150 degrees with Neptune and Sagittarius. So you got four major points, four major aspects, four major conversations going on with Mars. So that means in your chart, one of the main things we got to do is resolve the issue with Mars. Now, as you was talking, I was
Mm-hmm.
like I said, your chart was talking. You said, I know I had this void because of my father, right?
Correct.
Okay. Saturn, Saturn right here can represent the father. And you needed to have some security in knowing who your father is and what's the deal with him. Well, the second house is naturally the house of Taurus. And one of the words associated with Taurus is security. Security. But Mars can represent courage, assertiveness, activity, aggressiveness. You had to tap into your Mars. Your Mars, you had to go back and forth and wrestle with this to get to the point of having a conversation with your father. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
Now you got Mars forming a quincunx with the moon, and the moon can be associated with your mother. Now your moon is at 15 degrees. Remember I said 15 is a key number for you in your chart.
Right.
Your moon is at 15 degrees of Libra in the fourth house. The fourth house is the natural house of the moon. Okay? That's key. So the moon is naturally comfortable here, although it's in the sign of Libra. Libra is balance. Okay. I'm going to jump ahead here, then I'm going to come back. It was at 13 years old that your mother told you that the man in the house was not your father. 13.
Mm-hmm.
It was in high school when you started to show signs of your grades failing. Okay? So that's around the age of 14 or 15, right? When we start
15.
high
Right.
school.
Yeah, ninth grade. Yep.
So what we got here is we have found the trauma signature in your chart. Because what degree is Mars at? 14 degrees. What
Mm.
degree is Saturn at? 14 degrees. What degree is the moon at? 15 degrees. What degree is Neptune at? 14 degrees. This is where we go back, and this is where we find the healing at. 13, 14, and 15. That version of Brother Williams is where we are being challenged to go back to. And I want to tell you this, and this ain't this ain't those standard way of reading no chart, but it's just I can't go in order because the shit is just I'm trying to catch it while it's on my mind. Okay, I can relate to this chart. First of all, you got Saturn and Leo. I have Saturn and Leo, so I already know. There's a tendency that can be at times maybe some impatience about things, depending on what it is.
Okay, right.
Depending on what it is. Now, I want to ask you this, and
Mhm.
this is kind of off, but I'm gonna come, but it's off, but it's on. This Saturn is in Leo in the second house. Do you? How do you feel right now about resources relative to where you are in life?
Resource. Far as where
Resources,
I'm at now, far as where I'm at now,
as far as things of a tangible nature, money,
oh, okay, I got
resources,
you.
um, things of value.
How do I feel about that? Uh,
Are you
that's where I'm.
feeling?
Mhm.
Okay, go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
No, what was you getting ready to say?
Are you feeling some type of urge, some type of push?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Yeah.
Here's why I'm asking you. Mars, Mars is now in Leo, which is giving an extra urge in that area in your chart because your Leo is in the second house and your Mars is in Taurus. So now Mars is forming a square. The transit in Mars, when we say a transit in, that just means the planets keep moving, right? They
Sure.
don't never
Yeah,
stop
sure.
moving. So transit means where it's at right now. Everything we looking at is natal. That means at the moment you took your first breath, this is where everything was. Well, they've been moving the whole time. So the transit in Mars is squaring your natal Mars. What I'm getting at, when I read my chart last week, I talked about I was going to the cross because my chart is 13. That's the key number in my chart is 13. I'm having to go back and tap into being 13 again.
Mm.
Your chart, the showdown is around the same age area, but yours is more so 14. Okay. And Saturn, right now in your chart, is directly opposing where it is at the time you were born. Saturn is up here in Aquarius. Okay. Mars is down here in Leo. Uranus is up here in Taurus, which is opposing where it was when you were born. You at the cross too, my brother.
Yeah, I feel that shit, man.
You at the crossroads.
So
So
now
when
is this
you
when we go? Oh, my fault.
go ahead.
I was gonna say now is this when we dig into ourselves to find out what we need to be working on, what's at the forefront of our mind, or what we're or start taking a good look at maybe what we may be going through or something like that, according to
Yeah,
the
that's true, man. Because that's not to cut his wisdom on, but that's uh what I sit in silence with. So
mm.
a lot of things, a lot of answers might come to me. Cause like I told him, so I'm not writing music. A lot of answers will start coming to me when I start sketching and really getting into my drawing.
So you getting downloads by being artistic.
Yeah, and then yeah, I remember what my father says: keep doing this, don't stop doing it. You really have a third eye for doing that. So I get different downloads also. So I sit in silence a lot while I do meditations, and I think
Mhm.
about things and take note of what's going on. Along with whatever animals that I come in contact, insects with, I do research because they communicate with me also.
So all three of us we're all in a transformative moment right now. No pun
Yeah,
intended.
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Wow.
Your chart your chart is your chart is speaking. Let's just go through the key words because Dap said, well, now is where we start looking at what do we need to tap into. Well, that's part of why we do this.
Mhm.
It starts to kind of show you. First of all, is a know the schematic of the, I don't want to say the battlefield, or the schematic of the contract. Let's assume that this is a soul contract, okay?
All
And
right.
let's
Hmm.
assume that you agree to take on this contract for your soul to have a certain degree of experiences for it to grow, okay? Let's just go back to some keywords. Mars, assertiveness, courage, action, forward movement, um, um, instinct. Okay. All
And that's
right.
Right.
all coming into him searching for his pops.
Exactly. Okay. Then we're gonna what we're gonna do is we're gonna go at each point. At each point, we're gonna give keywords for Saturn, keywords for the moon, keywords for Uranus, keywords for Neptune. Okay. And then we're gonna that's gonna give us some insight. Okay, Saturn. Uh the Hermit, the building a structure, foundation, um uh fortification, bones, boundaries. These are words for Saturn, okay?
Hmm.
The moon, nourishment, because the moon is associated with the breast. So if we think about breastfeeding, the moon, nourishment, um, um, reception, emotion, caring, nurturing, okay? Those are some words for the moon. Uranus, freedom, rebellion, surprise, suddenness, expansion. Okay, let's go to Neptune. Illusion, imagination, dream, dissolving, unification. So I know that's a lot, but this is what I want to do to put it all together. Go back to what's the center, the focal point of all of these. It is Mars at 14 degrees of Taurus. So now let's take this a step further and let's make some sentences out of this. We're going to start out using the word courage. Finding the courage to build a structure, a new structure, Saturn. Finding the courage to nurture and allow myself to be nurtured, Moon. Finding the courage to break free from present constraints, Uranus. Finding the courage to tear down the walls that have separated me, that have created separation, period. Okay. Mars, taking the necessary action to be disciplined. And now we're going to go a step further. We're going to add in the sign that Saturn is in, which is Leo, and the house. Taking the necessary action, displaying courage to be disciplined in how I build the structure that allows me to shine my light, Leo, and secure resources, second house. Let me say it again. Mars, finding the courage and taking action to display discipline and the ability to build something that will allow my light to shine, Leo, and secure resources. Okay? Taking action and having the courage to allow myself to feel, Moon, which will create a sense of, or let's deal some more with this Moon. To allow myself to feel and to allow myself to heal. 15 degrees, Moon in Libra, which will create the harmony that I'm looking for. And this is not to say that this is future. Your chart is also present tense. The stuff you're saying, it's saying you're already on this track. Just by you having the courage to even communicate with your father, you are doing your fourth house work. Reaching out to your mother and saying, Mama, I'm feeling kind of off. You're doing your fourth house work. You're making yourself vulnerable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Reaching out to your father is your second house work. Because what is reaching out to your father? Could it possibly have to do with any resources? Well, if you've been feeling like you've had a writer's block, which is creativity, which is Leo, then maybe reaching out to your father helps to move a block there by moving into the healing process that will down the road give you the impetus to create.
Mm. And he's
I mean,
tapping
does
into
it sound like a stretch?
No, because I had a um pause from I took a setback on the drawing. So it's funny how it was my birthday today. And when I did talk to him before when I was going through that, I didn't have the feeling or the urge to want to sketch a drawing thing until my birthday came. And I just snapped right
Mm,
back into it. Same thing with my mom. I couldn't write anything, so I just stopped. I don't want to overstrain my brain. So she texted me something, was like, that's because you're doing something else. So tap into that, then eventually you'll get back to writing. But that's just showing that the other gift is showing itself more than the other. So just tap into doing the drawings, and then you'll eventually get back to doing it right.
mm,
and we was
I get
talking
something from both of them. You know what I mean? Like you were saying, I get something from both. Like I don't have to call them. I can text my mom because she's a poet. So, but if I get like that with the drawing, Pops will just call me out the blue, and we'll just talk. Hey, I like the way you drew this. Well, next time get you a ruler or something and make the ocean line more straight or something. I've done that. You know what I mean? So
and it's funny because before we went live, we were talking, and you're
yeah,
tapping into what we were talking to live, and just look
mm,
in the way your charts being explained, it seemed like you tapped into your drawing right as you tapped into meeting your dad and being tied in with your dad, and now through the
exactly.
art of drawing is bringing y'all connectivity. That's ill.
mm.
Yeah. That's why I said just I be at a stand. A lot of stuff was going on during the month of Ramadan. You know, like real quiet. I just wasn't saying too much in the class every Friday night. I was just sitting like an owl on the perch, just observing, listening to y'all speak. And I'm
Yeah.
still going through this transition during Ramadan, fasting and being quiet, make sure I work out, condition my body for the summer and the hot weather and stuff. So I everything you're saying is on point. I just sit, like I said, I just sit and observe and just be quiet and soak it in, man.
Mm.
Right
Keep it work.
on.
Yeah.
Still.
Still got other stuff I got to do too. So I'm just listening to what the brother got to say, man. It's all uh, come falling into place.
Okay. Well, let's keep going. Let's look at um one thing I want to say is that Uranus is exalted in the sign of Scorpio. All that means is that this is a place where they have a very harmonious energy interaction, Uranus and Scorpio, and that's a generational. So you got three planets that are generational. That they are Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. That means that they move so slow that that whatever sign they're in, you're normally going to have a large group of people going to be have that same placement. Okay, so for the most part, like Dap mentioned earlier, people born between like 70, I want to say 74 and 81.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think 74 and 81, I think, have Uranus in Taurus. I mean, Uranus in Scorpio, unless you were born during a retrograde. And you might have Uranus in Libra. But so this is very important because this is the fifth house. This is your house of creation. It's
Hmm.
called the fifth house is the house of children. And your children are your creations,
Hmm.
So all of your art, any art that you are producing is like your offspring. They're your children.
Mm.
Now, this house with this placement shows that there can be a sudden breakthrough in this area. You know, Scorpio is the laser that cuts away the bullshit so you can get to the depths of things. Okay. And in your chart, Uranus is retrograde. So that means the energy is more internally focused. So there can be a sudden revelation inside of you on a deep level that contributes to the type of art that you produce.
Mm.
You know, um, but it is opposing once again Mars. Um, and so basically, go ahead.
No, go. I'm writing it down. I got you.
So we can say then that Mars is that the chart is saying to take the necessary action and to have the courage to find a balance between, because when we have an opposition, think of an opposition like a seesaw. You got one
Mm-hmm.
person on one side, one on the other. And you know the only way to balance a seesaw is you got to have somebody, people of equal weight, basically. So when
Right.
you have an opposition, what you're trying to find is how do I balance them? So Taurus, your Mars is in the sign of Taurus. Okay. So Taurus is more of the the senses that tap into the surrounding world. Okay. That's why Taurus is associated with things of beauty and delicious food and what stimulates the five senses. Okay. Uranus, on the other hand, is what's at the core, what's down deep. You know, that's why. Did I say Uranus? I mean Scorpio. Scorpio is about what's at the core, because Scorpio is associated with Pluto, and Pluto is a god of the underworld, right? So it's the deep depths. So it's this these two this opposition is a challenge to find some type of harmony and balance between the what goes on at the depths of you versus what you're able to express out into the world.
Mm.
Because one thing I haven't mentioned is that you have Venus in the same sign as Mars. Now, Venus and Mars are like opposites. I mentioned this last week. Oh, I don't have the glyph. I mean, because I'm sharing, I can't show it. I want to show this real quick. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay.
I
Can I
want to
ask you
show
a
this.
question real quick, bro Williams?
Oh yeah, I
Uh,
remember that.
Remember this? This
Yes, sir.
is that's the old version of Mars, and
Hmm.
this is Venus.
Right.
mm,
So that's why they're opposite. You see, so Mars is the natural. What's the word I'm looking for? What I don't want to say animalistic, but it's like it's just what they call, what's the word? Shit, instinct.
Right.
Mars is raw instinct. Venus is, because the circle is above the cross. Venus is like spiritual matters are above the material matters. With Mars, the material world is on top. and the spiritual is suppressed. You got those two conjunct each other in your chart. But go ahead. What was you about to say, Dap?
Now I was just gonna ask, bro. When you draw, do you sit down and let it? Do you sit down and let it come to you, or do you sit down with a plan? Like when I make beats, I don't know what I'm gonna make. I just make it. So when you sit down, do you just um draw whatever, and then then once you kind of form what you got, then you go from there. And I'm only asking because before I had my chart read and things like that. After my chart, I started looking at like the way I was naming beats and all of that, and it kind of paralleled into what my chart was saying. So I was just interested in do your drawings align with anything that you're hearing tonight through your chart. And it may not be tonight, or after you tap in with this, something may come up, but I just wanted to ask you that.
Um, where I come up with some of the drawings that y'all have actually seen on the live, when y'all would go live, is I get on YouTube and I look at what other people draw, and I
Mm-hmm.
get from that, and then I create it or design it my own way, but I learned how to um, draw it a certain way by watching them, and I
Okay.
create it in a different way. So what I'll do is I'll do it that way, and then I'll challenge myself. Like I think if y'all remember a couple of weeks ago, I had the picture. My profile pic was of the palm trees and the ocean in pencil color. I never drew anything in pencil color. That's how I challenge myself, and I
Okay.
do that. I even the one with the two cliffs, got that off of YouTube, but challenged myself to draw the other cliffs instead of just drawing one, and then added the sunset. Then freestylers start coming like, well, then leaving two cliffs, what's next? All right, well, let me draw another ocean line, draw the sunset, shade it, because I can
That's
shade
dope.
real good. I naturally know how to shade, because when we all were young, all of it, y'all, as far as y'all can remember, coloring books, me, I like to trace the picture and then I
Right.
colored it, color inside. So
Yes.
the
Yes.
shading and all that comes from all of that. And I took art class. I went to school in Galveston Island when I was like in fifth grade.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
funny because that it reminds me of chopping samples. I take somebody else's work, reconfigure
Hmm.
it, and
Yeah.
and then add my twist to it. Yeah, that's an ill
Hmm.
parallel. That's dope.
For sure.
Yeah, so you got Venus and you got Mars up here, and they're conjunct each other.
Okay.
This is it just adds more credence to the fact that this is the focal point. One of the key focal points of your chart.
Hmm.
And not only is Venus here, but Venus is in its favorite sign, Taurus. So I started out, I said that little brother song was called Work Through Me. Okay. So your chart seems to be telling you work through me through here, Venus and Mars. So Mars, do what you do. Be courageous, take action. And in doing so, and we've talked about the areas you're taking action: second house, fourth house, fifth house, sixth house. And then in doing so, it supports your Venus. Now, what is Venus? Venus is your love of art.
Mm.
That's you. That is you. Your mother is a poet, visual artist. Your father is a painter and preacher. Now look at this. Now we think this astrology ain't real. Now one of the words associated with Sagittarius is uh, philosophy, religion. You know what I'm saying? So your father is a preacher and a painter. Now, the painter has to be able to see something that ain't there.
Right.
So Sagittarius is long range vision. The arrow shoots far from where it's at. Your mother is a Gemini.
Mhm.
And in your chart, you have an opposition between Gemini and Sagittarius. Ain't that some shit?
Oh,
But
well.
here's the beauty of this, that Jupiter is opposing Neptune. Now, this is what we want to. That's what I want to lock in. I want to go through some. I want to refer back to the body. The sun is your heart, okay? And we always say that the heart pumps blood, but that may not be necessarily the case. Venus is your veins. Jupiter is your arteries. Okay? So what does this have to do with? Venus takes blood back to the heart. Venus pumps your sun.
Wait a minute. Hold on. That's funny you say. You know, I wrote an old, because I write music too. I had an old um verse I wrote some years ago when I moved up here, and I wrote this shit, and I had to look back at it, and it's still stuck in my brain. It was like, I said, uh, read a map on your veins, GPS into the brain, and watch the quest go smooth with no errors being made. Slide to home plate. Umpire down safe. The cause and effect is what we all face. Life is a learned lesson, so class is now in session. Use your thoughts at your discretion like an automatic weapon. Universal laws like, never mind. Yeah, but yeah, that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
it.
that
Yeah,
was it.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was it.
That was it.
yeah.
That was your
Wow.
Venus speaking. Your Venus,
Crazy.
your our veins, our veins carry oxygen and carbon dioxide back to the heart. Okay,
Okay.
so your Venus serves your sun, and in your chart, you have Venus in Taurus, your sun in Cancer. That's a sextile. Okay, the relationship between those two is Venusian in itself. A sextile is considered to be a Venus aspect. Okay. Sextile just means something is like 60 degrees away. So you don't have an exact one, but it's close enough. Jupiter takes the blood from the heart, the oxygenated blood from the heart, and supplies it to the rest of the body. Now, what does that have to do with a chart? Jupiter is why do they say um, Jupiter is a planet of expansion? Because that's what it's doing. It takes the blood from the heart and expands it by sending it to all your organs and tissues in your body. So you look for Jupiter and you find where you have your abundance. Okay? So your abundance in your chart is in Gemini. Now, in Gemini, you have Mercury, which is the ruler of Gemini. So, for all of the strife you've had in your life, my brother, see, my wife has this saying. She says, God is fair. You know, so she says that whatever bullshit you're dealt, you're going to be dealt equal amount of beneficence to offset it in some type of way.
Yeah.
Here's where your chart is showing you the beauty of all the pain you endured. You have Venus in its house, Taurus. You have Mercury in its house. But not only is Mercury in the sign of Gemini, you have a very mature Mercury.
Mhm.
Your Mercury is at 28 degrees.
Yeah.
So your sense of perception is very heightened. I don't readily announce that I'm left-handed. You sit back and watch. See, that's some shit I would do. I sit back and watch, like, I'm like, Arlene Bay is left-handed. Bobby Hemming is
Mhm.
left-handed. C. Freeman
Mhm.
L is left-handed. I'm like,
Yeah.
And it's funny. There's a brother named Young E who sits in sometime on some of our videos, and he's a Gemini who's left-handed.
Ooh,
But
Hmm.
it's Young E.
so what I'm showing you, this is where your abundance comes in.
Good.
I just want to encourage you to have the courage to believe in yourself as an artist. Believe in your gifts. And your chart says there is abundance in your ability to take um your natural inclination for perception and to channel that back into your art. And it shows you that by having the courage to allow yourself to be the natural feeling individual that you are, that you benefit. It's saying that not just, be out here no fucking bleeding heart, but allow yourself to feel. You know what I'm
That's true.
saying? As your chart is saying, there is benefit for you to allowing yourself to feel. You don't have to keep your guard up 24/7. That's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting.
You know what's
And
funny? You said that. Oh, go ahead, bro.
no. Go ahead. Y'all
No,
jump in whenever.
one of the things that you had spoke on during one of the episodes on the podcast that I'm starting to learn is like I don't like motherfuckers running up uh absorbing into my damn aura. I don't like that shit either. Like you could be somewhere off in the space and hear this motherfucker come like, bro, why is you all the fuck by me like that, bro? Think you about to do me something like I don't like that shit. But when I heard you speak, I took that and embraced it. And I see one thing I'm learning is that silence is a good weapon if you know how to use it to his advantage. So that's how I learned. So when I heard you speak, that I was like, damn. Sometimes I be in the shop, I'm like, damn, so you can hear me like, man, I feel that same shit too. Like, I don't like motherfuckers get by me like that, man. I really don't. I can't. That shit burn. It's almost like I know what it is now because it took me a while to see my own light. Because some motherfuckers will just gravitate to you. Then when you get to know motherfuckers, they ain't about shit. And then it's like, you know what? You get to that phase like, man, I need to stay the fuck away from me. But when you start getting older in age and you hear other people that's the same like you learn something from like, well, damn, I understand and relate what he's saying. So okay, you know what? Let me do that. And you do that. So people just can't because people see like they might just come to you because they might just be like you. Like I'm coming over here because I see his light. And I'm gonna be over here because I feel safe over here because he has the same engine like I have. And I don't feel like being around a bunch of people, so I'm gonna rock with him. Or I see something in him because one thing I know is like that took me a while to figure out over the years, and I know what it is, and I keep that to myself. When elders just always tell me this, and people too, is it something about you I just can't put my finger on? It's something about you. Is it something about you I can't put my? And I used to be like, hell, that mean, but I understand now what it is now. And I kept once I got the answer from a download, I sat back and I kept it to myself.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
it's heavy.
I think what's going on. I think people are finding their tribes.
Yeah,
Mm,
I think that's, and I think as we find our tribes, because all the shit I'm saying to you is like it's pertinent to me too. Like I'm
yeah,
a very guarded person, you
yep,
know. And I think that's why some of us kind of you start kind of it's like it's an energetic thing, you know. People of a
it
certain
is.
energy pattern, they start kind of picking up on the frequency and they start kind of congregating, you know, which is the real
Yeah,
meaning of a congregation.
mm,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And so when I say that about letting that guard, I think that's what it really it's letting the guard down for the motherfuckers that matter. My guard is still very up for bullshit ass, nothing ass motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? It's MJ said vibe with your tribe. That's right. You know,
yeah.
and and I think that's the beauty of where we at. And one thing I want to say too, but we can't overlook it's so much stuff in your chart. But if you see
We
here,
can do a part two.
yeah, yeah, it's because I know
We don't
you
have to,
gotta,
man. Yeah.
yeah, man. It's
You know another thing too, brother Jamal. Same thing with just dealing with people, individuals, man. Like, just be honest with y'all. Like, being here where I'm at, we like a 5%. We're the minorities where I'm at. This where I'm located at in the Northwest Corner. So I learned so much here because one thing I know is like it's quiet. So like after 9 o'clock, you can go on your balcony or out on your post and be like, "Man, the hell, everybody, it's a curfew or something going on around here." You see, it's quiet, and that's why I told brother Dapp in the chat room a couple weeks ago. I said, man, if you pay attention to the state of Idaho, it's a chill. That means sit your ass down and get your shit in order. I've
right.
been
mm,
there I've been there since January 17th, 2012, and that's why I'm able to speak like this because I had to get all of that shit and turmoil and fighting and being homeless and doing this and doing that and not having nowhere stable. I got to stay here and got my ass grounded. And then now it's not a lot of us here, but I can say this: the place has uh good energy, but on the flip side, you have to make sure you keep yourself grounded because it still has this kind of uh subtle depressing aura about it. Because there's
mm,
nothing really here for folks to do. It's a college town, mind you that. So it's
Right.
one of these old dusty used to be hit towns. So uh, um, I'm gonna say like it's a lot of Caucasians here. They not dumb by a long shot. So when I've ran into some, and I could speak on something on a little bit what I know, and we automatically just have this conversation. Now like this is a whole lot different with dealing when you're dealing with a bunch of ninjas back in the southern region. But
mm.
But here's the crazy thing. Not just by me being up here, and when I do come back to my region in the south, I look at the southern region in a whole different fucking light right now.
Mm.
It's something
Not like
about
I used to look at it. I look at the southern region a whole different light from one thing that came in like we always talk about. Oh man, we lost the language. They're like, no, we didn't. It's hitting our dialect. We're not paying attention, man. We got everything we need for southern region. That's no disrespect to none of the brothers and sisters from the other sides of the region within our country. I know what it is because most of our elders left and spread it out because they had to get away from all that shit down
right.
there. But it's almost like you doing solitary confinement up here. And once you open, it's almost like a brother getting out of jail and he has a whole different mindset of seeing something in a whole different light. That's how I look at the South now, my region.
Mm,
So I can't come back down to doing the same bullshit because I'm gonna get the same results. But if you got a sound mind and your mind is open, you see something different light, the hell what everybody else got to say.
yeah. That's that. Yeah. That's
Message.
a fact.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Yep. Because I noticed that being here, and you know, I was telling Jamal, like when I go somewhere and visit, I be like,
Mhm.
I can go for a couple of days and I be ready to get back home and get right back into my routine, bro. Like I'm so
Yeah.
comfortable in what I'm doing and what's going on around me and my family vibe and all of that. Like, you know, yeah, I can go visit somewhere for a little bit, but I'll be ready to get back because I feel
We
like what
connected.
yeah, and I feel like what I'm doing in my life, a couple times where I tried to um maybe talk about it, I'm not
Hmm.
gonna say it wasn't received well, but because someone's in a different they're on a different path in their life, sometimes they don't understand what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I would tell my wife, "Oh, watch this video," and she watches and she was like, "I don't understand the context," but I've watched 5 other videos and then got this download and I'm so excited and I just want her to see this one that connected everything to me, but she didn't see the other 4 videos. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I look like that's how I feel with what's going on my path in life. Is like I'm in a whole different vibe when I come around. Sometimes you're around people that's still in the vibe that they were in 20 years ago,
Oh
and then you
man.
come around in the new vibe and it's like they looking at you and you're like, you know, uh, I'm doing something different. Well, what are you doing? Well, I'm doing this and that. Why are you doing that? And it's just like, damn, like you ain't getting the perspective. Like I was doing other stuff, now I'm doing this. You don't see the growth or nothing. Like you know what I mean? Like you know me when I was wilding, so now you see I'm doing something different. It's kind of like, yo, why ain't you still wilding, bro? Like, come on back over here. Like, nah, my G, I understand that now.
Yeah.
And what you're saying a lot about with understanding, bro. I think some people get it and some people are looking past it because I feel like everyone gets down. Like, I don't feel like I'm no different than no one else. I feel like other
Right.
people get downloads too, but you're
Yeah.
either choosing to tap into it or you're just brushing it off, you know, and for whatever reason, you know what I mean? But I know we all have the opportunity, from our perspective, to do something different than what we were once doing.
Yeah. That's why like for me, I just need to get back home to the island and just charge up because I'm a water element.
Mm-hmm.
So now I just need to go back to the Gulf Coast and go to that island, release and absorb some more and go on. Cause yeah, once you know your shit, man, you just know you on your shit. You on your shit, regardless of what other people say. I understand. I feel
Right.
like people would say this and that, and oh man, that yeah, different that. And then my teacher always told me she was like, motherfuckers know they just play stupid all the damn time, trying to act like they don't know. We all get the same shit, get down on some folks just be faking the funk on the nasty dongle, like, and like the real. I mean, people not the real, but just people know. And the
Mm-hmm.
ones that's gonna be connected are gonna connect, and the other ones who wanna fake, they gonna reveal their hands eventually in the long run.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Because when you're sitting on information, at some point, it's gonna show. It's like the person that lie. You're gonna get jammed up, and it's the same. I think with information, it's gonna come to a point where you're gonna have to show that you know something or show that you understand uh something. You know what I mean? And I believe that um for whatever reason that time is approaching because you know Jamal said it earlier, cats is finding their tribes and you can see it. And I think the internet has really just opened everything up for us to see stuff on a more worldly, national, worldly scale. You know, I read a lot of articles and stuff, and sometimes I'll go to the comments and read the comments, and I always call it the pulse of. I used to like when if it's something in America, but I know other people can chap in. I used to say the pulse of America, but really you get in the pulse of the world because you can say whatever you want with no one knowing. You know, you could put a funny name up there. My name is XJ39 with a you know with a with, with an alligator as an avatar, and then you could be
Yeah,
saying the most craziest things, but you right around the corner somewhere, you know. And I think um I think what happens is we get to see what people really think. And I think when people's commenting on articles and all of that, they telling you what they like. They ain't playing on that because they could be who they are. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they telling you. I feel like people are telling you what they really. They're saying what they really want to say. So when I look at comments, I'm like, okay, now yeah, I understand trolls and all of that stuff,
Mhm.
but for the most part, especially when it's something pertinent and going on in the world, people giving you their real belief, or their real thought on that. And then you begin to understand it also gives you a glimpse to see where people mindsets are. And are you coming from I like to say um from a what was my little saying? From a place of being informed or uninformed, uninformed opinion or informed opinion. You know,
Mm-hmm.
meaning informed opinion meaning you've done some research on some things. You didn't, maybe you didn't read a few things to help, broaden your perspective on whatever. Or you just read this article and have a response. Like you ain't really taking, I'm like you, I'm like an analyzer, you know what I'm saying? So I read something and then I gotta tap into all sides of the story
Oh
before I
shit.
could really make a honest opinion. Because it's you said it earlier, like with the addiction and everything, you don't know what people been through to go whatever
Exactly.
way they went. We just, oh, he did that. This should be the response. Like, no, my thing is like tap in. Like, if this person is willing to talk about what's going on with them, say somebody do something, they go to prison. And first thing okay, you get life in prison, whatever, you get the electric chair or one of these things. Instead of just saying that person get pushed over there, I think they should go talk to people like that if they want to share, if they're willing to become forthcoming. So then we can get an understanding of why this person did these things. And then once we do that, I believe, not to say that should, remove that person from doing time or whatever, but I'm just saying to get into the psyche of a person.
Yeah, because you have a lot of I gotta go in a second. You
All
get a
right.
lot of folks that one thing my father congratulated me on. He was like, he asked me a question. He was like, "Well, son, I know throughout those years when I was in your life, did you at least feel mad or something?" I said, "Pop, if you would met me in high school, 20s, 30s, or young, I said, I didn't have no malice or hate in my heart for I wasn't raised and molded that way. I say, if I would have ran across you, I'd had nothing but open arms and number love for you. I said, well, I'm gonna hate on somebody I don't even know. I said, that's them other cats, they grew like they embrace their pain. I didn't embrace it like that. Me, I was walking around trying to figure out what the hell I got. I mean, the coldest one is when you walk around and you don't even know what the hell you really look like.
Mm.
Even though you look yourself in the mirror every day. Now go think on that one.
Mm-hmm.
You walk around and every day not know what the hell you look like, your image. But you see your face every day, but that's how numb I was to the world, man.
Mm.
A lot of shit didn't fade me. I just stayed quiet. I lost family members. I didn't cry. I even asked my mom, something wrong with me? She's like, where you get that from? I said, nah, mom. Me and lost people in the family. Ain't nothing come out my eyes. She's like, well, baby, I don't know what to tell you. That's how numb I was, man.
Wow. It's heavy.
Again, it brings us back to water.
Yep.
You know, water is the most proficient element for healing. Um, and most of our wounds come through water, and as in some emotional wound, you know, and that's where we heal. And I think it it's something about this generation. It's something that Pluto and Libra, that Uranus, and Scorpio, that somewhere in there, um, that Neptune and Sagittarius, and not negating the the significance of other generations. It just so happened this is our generation,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, and in some kind of way we found ourselves around each other.
Right. Right.
Um, and it's
Almost
very
like the
possible.
X-Men.
What's that?
I said, only thing I can look at it is the fucking X-Men, man.
Mm,
Transformers, Voltron,
Yeah.
Thundercats. Come on, man. The
mm-hmm,
list goes on.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who knows what the ultimate purpose of our individual healing is for? You know, it's individual, but it's actually collective, you know. Um, because I was just thinking about, I don't know, man. It's so much shit. Just
Well, we got we all finally met face to face now on this live. So, brother Jamal and brother Dap, whenever y'all want to do a part two of this, I'm all for it. 'Cause I still got more shit I want to talk about. So, um,
Okay. All right.
no doubt, good brother. Well, enjoy your solar return,
appreciate that.
Yes,
and
sir.
Got my number, man. Hit me whenever you want to hit me, man.
no
Y'all
doubt,
talk.
I got you locked in. Um, and
Peace
man, we
on them beats,
appreciate.
Dap.
I got you. Shoot me a the Think Music email is thinkmusic@gmail.
Okay,
So shoot me your email, and I'll shoot you some beats, no doubt.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
What you wanted to
But
say, brother Jamal? I'm gonna cut you off.
Uh, I don't know, man. I just saying, shit. I don't know. Just be safe out there, man. I think that's what. Oh no, no. I was telling you, we appreciate you coming on. That was it.
Oh yeah, it's been a long way. I've been need to do something like this anyway, man, for myself. So I'm just like y'all, man. Kind of lost for words, just overwhelmed. So,
yeah, and I think it's Think Music. It's Think Music LLC at Gmail. Uh, but yeah, and for me, that's where the prayer and meditation and lighting incense and sage in our apartment and all of that stuff come in, bro. Like trying to clear clutter from the mind, and and that's what's helping me with being overwhelmed, clearing out, spring cleaning mentally in the home, keeping things organized, trying to be organized, um, and really following my downloads, bro. Like I said on a couple podcasts ago, I had a download to read the dictionary, and I was like, for what? You know what I mean? Like, and I'm like, okay, is it to broaden my vocabulary? But who knows what words I'm gonna come across that all these thoughts I've been having, and this is what I'm about to say just came to me the other day because reading the dictionary is still on like it still comes to me, and it's like I might be reading the dictionary and come across some words or come across a word that may be the answer to a question I've been asking. Where I see the word and I read the definition, and it's like, yo, but it's not necessarily for me to use the word in speech. It's for me, it's to give me understanding on the question I asked 2 years ago. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Like myself, or through or meditating, or Jamal turned me on into writing a word on the full moon and all of that. And so I was like, you know what? I just need to pick the dictionary up and just read the dictionary. Because I first got turned on to that when I worked back home for our newspaper company. I used to ask like, what does word mean? What does word mean? They was like, yeah, why don't you just write the words down and go home and look up the definitions? I wind up having like 3 pages of words. Because I used to read the state and local, so they use the first word I learned was jargon. I was like, jargon, what does that mean?
Yeah.
That means language, like using different words. I said, okay. And then I just started writing words down. I had a notebook paper on lunch, and I would read the paper, and I just started writing words down. I think I still have some of those words.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know you got to
Hey,
go,
brother.
bro. I'm going to just say peace. And once again, happy solo return. And, and outside of even the part two, man, like if you just want to come on and
Yeah, we
chop it,
can do that.
I think that'd be dope because I think to be able to bounce ideas around and share things only enhances it only enhances us. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, I'm definitely down for you coming back on, man. Whenever you got the time.
Oh yeah, and shout out to all my classmates that's tuned in every Friday on the podcast. So shout out to the classmates, man. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No
Appreciate it.
doubt.
Appreciate everyone that
And
tuned
yeah, so and brother Jamal, I know I took a hiatus off of reading, man. I ain't forgot to read the book, man. So I was just holding it till I got all this other stuff out the way, man. So
No doubt. I know
like
how it
yeah,
is.
sometimes you got to take a break, a hiatus from that reading, man. Because I remember a couple of weeks ago, y'all was talking about how when you was going looking for the truth and watching all them damn videos, you get caught up into some shit, man. And I take
me.
self accountability and say, yeah, I was caught up in some of that shit too, man. Real
Hmm.
spirit.
It
A lot
depressed
of
me.
folks don't want to admit to it, man. But be real, man. Tell the truth, shame the devil.
Yep.
Yeah.
Too much
Yeah.
information. It started to depress me, bro. Like I had to like even now, I got a boatload of books to read. But
Yeah.
my download is telling me to tap into something else. And when Jamal read my chart, it was like, yo, I'm really into architecture. Like that's where I'm pushing to. Like, and it's not to
Yeah.
say I'm capped on information or I didn't hit my ceiling or I definitely don't know everything. But it's just like it may be time for me to take a break from that and then, step into my art zone and then step back into that. You know what I mean? Because over 10 years, I learned I gained a lot of information, way more than I knew 10 years previous to that. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
um, so now it's like okay. At first, I was forcing myself, but no. Now I'm gonna tap into the music and tap into the art and tap into the architecture and all that type of stuff, and then it's gonna circle back where I get and then when I get back to because I used to every book I bought before I say like before 10 years ago. As soon as I bought it, I read it, and then I just went on a book buying spree, and built my library up a little bit because I wanted to do that. Then Jamal was like, "Bro, like I think our libraries is just for when you need to pull a source, you got it. You just go get it. Like it's not even about reading everything in your library." I was like, "Yeah, that kind of makes sense." Like okay, I got this thought. I have this book. Let me go pull from it because there's something in there. Like I used to, like when I used to smoke weed. I told people this, and I'll let you go. When I used to smoke weed, let's be clear on that. I used to get urges to read the Bible, and I was like, "Oh, I'm disrespecting God, and I'm not gonna touch the Bible. I'm high." But in hindsight 2020, I was probably gonna get a jewel in that joint. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I was probably gonna get a jewel that I maybe needed at that time. But I was like, oh, you touching the Bible. My hands smell like reefer. Like, you ain't supposed to read the Bible high. I psyched myself out. But I was getting downloads back then to read the Bible high. Like, go
Man, I
in.
don't feel bad, man. Shit, I used, when I was out there on the corner, man. Shit, I had a Quran in one hand,
Ooh.
sipping syrup and smoking weed, then reading the Quran about crack paraphernalia on my damn fingernail. that ain't stopping me, man, from learning, getting knowledge.
Right.
You feel me? So
Yep.
you gotta feed this computer, man. This is what they got the design a computer from. Is this is your computer?
Right. Right.
It got download information. Like for real, ain't none of that stop me, man. That's
Yep.
another thing we need to talk about. That's another thing I can speak on too. Why these youngsters on all these damn drugs? I understand, you know what I mean? Because I was there. I used to sip the certain powder pills. I know what it is, and I give you the scoop on that too. Because it's the
Mm,
reason behind the madness, man. Real talk.
okay. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to chop it up on the offline. Everything ain't for online. We have to chop that up offline.
Yeah. So, like, shout out to y'all. Shout out to the classmates in the chat, man. I can't even read the comments till let's y'all will still be on live. Or y'all about to shut it down?
We're gonna go for a few more minutes. Yeah, we probably gonna
I was about to get off and get on YouTube and get up in the chat room.
Yeah, we probably be on for a few more minutes.
yeah, a few
Yeah.
more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm about to
Yeah.
go on ahead and get up in here and get it on right quick. Put this
All
old
right.
thing on
Get that money, brother.
Yes,
already.
indeed.
Graveyard shift.
For sure. All right, man. Well, enjoy the rest of the your time, your solar
Uh,
return, and we're gonna catch you on the top side, good brother.
Stay
Peace,
down
man.
till you get up. Till you get up, stay down.
Stay
Yes,
down.
sir.
All
All
right.
right. Peace.
Peace. Okay. Yo, that was cool.
Yeah, that was dope.
What you got, bruh?
Oh, I ain't doing nothing. I call this beat Sea Merchant. I was just telling I was telling brother Williams like that's what I was thinking about working on, man, like you know, my atmospheric album, just messing with sounds, you know.
Mm.
This beat I started it last. Hold on, why won't this shit stop? Oh man. Um um yeah, and I call it Sea Merchant. And I was just, just messing with a vibe, man. Really trying to, do something different, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was exciting to mess with some different sounds and see what I could put together. And who knows, man? When I send it to you, it might spark a joy in you, and you know have you go somewhere with it. So just enjoying the art, man, and enjoying the thoughts that come.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've been feeling super urged to just. I'm not a very active. person. I'm a slow moving person. I was never good working like in factories and shit,
Right.
cause I wasn't a fast person. You know
Likewise.
when I worked on the loading dock at these trucking companies, they'd be like, "Come on, Hoss." Down here in Texas, they call you Hoss. Come on, Hoss, you got to pick it up. You know, it's like this. I'm in fifth gear, Jack. This is fast as. But when it come to this creativity and just I guess my version of it, man, I feel like I feel a lot of electrical energy.
Mm.
Like I'm feeling like I'm gonna have to start putting on. We used to do it like with the children, put on like the rain to go to sleep. Like I'm gonna have to start doing that shit for me.
Mm-hmm.
My
Yeah.
shit be so revved up by the end of the night, I'm having to learn how to turn it off. Cause I don't have as of yet, the luxury. Well, I ain't gonna use the word luxury. The time space, like to get up and have, to sit and meditate and um me nor my wife. It's kind of like we're in that space of, and I wanted to say this when Brother Williams was on to add on, is that depending on where you are in your situation, um, it is sometimes it's endurance.
Mm.
you know, it's endurance to get to the point where you can uh, get to that next level. Cause I know we're tired, straight up. We tired. And I'm not saying that it's no defeatist. I'm saying of just what it is. Like, when you, and I always use reference back to the competition bodybuilding because there's so many life lessons in that. But when you're like towards the end of your diet and the show is almost approaching, that's the hardest part of the diet. Your body fat's really low, your energy's really low. And when you get to the last 10 days before the show, you're gonna have no salt on your food. Your the
Right.
muscles in your the jaws is so hard to chew the food because all your body fat's so low, your skin is so tight, it's hard to chew. Everything's, and you don't have no desire to eat because it's shit you don't want to eat, you
Right.
know. And you're slowly cutting your water back, but you know that you got a finish line.
Right.
That's what's pushing you. It's like, I know the show is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in that part of, we know the show is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the endurance to keep, you know, um, to hang in there. And a lot of it shows, like, I looked at my chart the other day and I looked back at it. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is read your own chart.
Ooh.
And because you read somebody else's, you objectify it from it. You're not in it.
Right.
But when you're reading yours, you're in it and you got to see all the shit, you
Right.
know?
Yes.
And I looked at mine, I was like, oh man. In our relationship, I'm the daredevil. My two words is fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. You know? And my wife is no, but no, not now. She's thinking the long term. When I look back at both our charts, it points more to it's time for her to be the daredevil and for me to be the last thing I want to be, conservative.
Mm.
Ain't that a bitch?
Yes.
You
Wow.
know? Yeah.
And you got to figure out how to fall into that role and then let your wife step into that other role. And that's going to be fun in itself.
Yeah, that's the and that's the thing. That's what I mean by endurance.
Mm-hmm.
Endurance, shifting the mind. Like I'm having to work on shifting my mind from not looking towards, you know, get this shit over with so I can get to, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Versus just, the same mindset I use when I work out. Go in every day, I do the workout. I do the workout. I do the workout. I'm familiar with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen the results and I know what happens when you just keep doing it every day,
Mm-hmm.
consistently. You look up one day and it's like, I see some abs coming through,
Right.
you know, And what I'm having to do now is superimpose that over into just mundane life. Because I sit and I did like when I moved here 19 years ago, the North Node was in Gemini, the moon was in Aquarius, the sun was in Cancer. Here we are 19 years later, the moon is in Aquarius. I think no, the moon is in. If it's not, it's about to go into Aquarius. But the sun is in Cancer. The North Node is in Gemini. And when I got here, it was the the grind of moving to a new place, learning the territory,
Yeah.
you know, and just grinding and getting myself. And I'm like, okay, that's what the Renaissance is. I'm having to go back and, you know, take what I learned that last 19 years and now bring it over into this next 19-year cycle,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yes.
But I know that's I'm just rambling, but
Nah, that's a real thing. That's why I feel like everything we've learned, especially with a clear mind, we're able to. This clear mind has allowed me to really uh act on things that have come to, to downloads that have come. You know what I mean? Because like I said, you know, getting urges to read the Bible under the influence, I was nullifying that. Oh, I'm not supposed to do that. But it could have been a jewel there that I needed in that moment. So clarity now is a beautiful thing. And I try not to do anything um to cloud my mind. I'm trying to do is more and more free my mind. Um so I can just be um the vessel of receiving. Um and I have 19 years of alcohol, marijuana, to where I was clouded for a long time and where my governor was going in certain situations. And now when I look back, I'm like, I see I can I'm beginning to put the puzzle together of my life back then. You know what I mean? And so it's beautiful to have clarity, bro, and it's beautiful to be in this space of understanding and not be downtown right now um clanking Heinekens with somebody and and how did Atlanta Hawks just get blew out by 40? Like it's like, you know what I mean? It's like it feels good to be in this place versus, doing something else for me. You know what I mean? Uh and that's why just doing this podcast and having my chart done and meeting you and you having your chart done, now Brother Williams. And then understanding that 72 through 84 energy, bro, like we're a special group, and we needed soberness and clarity to understand how special we are. And now in our later years, I'll say in our mid years, um, we're beginning to get some understanding that hopefully we can impart on our children and others. You know what I mean? While staying grounded into into the information we gaining, and not becoming, you know, a know-it-all or whatever. You know, how you see some other people step into that world when they get some knowledge. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just staying humble, staying clear,
Mm-hmm.
under and really recognizing who you are as a person, and fully stepping into that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I feel like I'm doing. I'm really stepping into who I'm supposed to be, but we had to go through some things, and and the blessing is we made it through those things, and now we're hoping to elevate to something else. You said something before, and I'll pass it on. It's like, and it's something that just it's been ever since you said it, it's been stuck in my mind, and it's like, yo, are we here to prepare for the next chapter of whatever our soul is gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And where we may not have remembrance from before, there'll be something in our DNA that when we come back, you know, whenever it is, we'll be pulling from something from this time, which is amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you said, you know, in my chart, you said something about me having an old soul, and I was like, wow, like I had to start thinking about the people I was hanging around when I was younger, and I was hanging around quote unquote old heads, and I had an affinity to be around older men and women. You know what I'm saying? Just because I felt like they knew something. So, you know, they were like, you know, uh, like they had something to impart. So just listening a lot. You know what I mean? But you know, man, it's good to be in this. It's good to be in this space of under. Like I'd rather have this problem than living in the mission trying to figure it out. Like I'd rather have this problem of understanding right now versus I don't know how I'm gonna stop, you know, having an addiction, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather be at this moment of understanding. And like we said earlier, it's tough. Um it's a task, but I'm up for it.
No doubt. So, so Anthony X, as he said, I don't know if this is a rhetorical question or if it's a question you won't answer. He said, "We find out who we are, but what are we, God?"
Hmm. Hmm. Me personally, my understanding at this current moment is understanding your surroundings and not um falling into the pitfalls this world has.
I look at it as this. Okay, he said it's serious, not rhetorical. Okay. Okay, whenever you use the word what, in Arabic, the word what is ish. Ish. And ish then translates in Hebrew to fire. So what in itself, the word what means fire. And that's what all of this is. So the reason we say we are gods is because we are all fire that has been submerged into water. And so there's no question about whether we're God or not. So that's not even, we don't have to even debate on that. But the challenge is becoming a human. We always look at it that the challenge is becoming God. But is it? The challenge is becoming human. God's already, that's a constant, that's a force. But this force decided to split itself. And when it split itself, it subjected itself to ignorance. It subjected itself to dysfunction, imbalance, insecurity, all the pick some fucked up shit. That's what it subjected itself to. All to know itself. And it knows itself through humanity.
Yeah,
We think we're working to become God. No, we're working to figure out fucking humanity. That's the hard shit. It's not the challenge to lose our humanity. And it's all, see, that's a very familiar, we're very familiar with, let me read this out loud. Is not the challenge to lose our humanity. Our humanity keeps us trapped in this fucked up matrix. Does it? Can something trap you in what you built? That's the question. Do you hate your mother? And I'm not saying this to be funny. This is not just to you, Anthony. It's a question to that mindset. Because Matrix is mother. And mama made this.
And we're trying to figure out ways to remove ourselves from the matrix, or in the sense understanding the matrix. And that's where it goes back to my first statement of understanding what this world offers, and then trying to remove yourself from the pitfalls. Because if you don't come in with any understanding, then you got to figure it out on your own. That's why I feel blessed in my 40s to have the wherewithal to understand some things that I didn't understand in my teen years and my 20s, that I understand now, that if I knew then, I maybe wouldn't have did some things. But then when you say that, it doesn't have me here right now. So I had to go through all of those things to get me here right now. You know what I'm saying? And now that I understand our governmental structure, the finance world, all of this stuff, people hiding history, this and that. Once you start understanding some of those things, then you begin to understand. For me, it's like, okay, I don't have to go out and become Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, or nobody with a bullhorn and sprout those things. All I need to do is understand them, sharing when they need to be shared, and then find out okay, I understand these things now. What role do I have in this life? Like what's the role for me? Because a lot of these things bring stress to you. Then you just start understanding, like, I don't. It's like when I first came across the thought of, I have to let you make me angry. Like, I have to buy into that thought. Like, I can either do one or two things. I can get angry with what you're saying, or I can look at who you are and then figure out what is wrong with you to make you respond the way you're responding. And when I take that approach, then I'm more being analytical of the person who's doing the talking for me, and because it has nothing to do with me. You know, a mentor told me that what did he say? He said uh when you're mad at someone, are you mad at them per se, or are you mad because they're doing something you want to do? I'm paraphrasing, but you know, so
I,
that's my
I,
take.
I want to go back to Anthony's question though, because I think it's, well, not go back. We're still on it, but I want to just take another angle because I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a very philosophical question,
Mm-hmm.
and it's one that's a good question to bring up. I'm gonna read it again. It's not the challenge to lose our humanity. Our humanity keeps us trapped in this matrix.
Mm-hmm.
So here's two basic schools of thought. I think what Anthony is expressing is the idea that, let's say, the Titans are overthrown by the Olympians. And the Olympians are trying to hold the Titans down in Tartarus, the underworld.
Mm-hmm.
And our job is, we are the Titans. And we're fighting to get out of Tartarus to overthrow the oppressive Olympians who are trying to hold us down. Let me tell you, I used to be a card carrying spokesperson for that line of thought. Card carrying. But personally, I see things, and everything's about growth. Now, what I've learned throughout this journey is that you're never supposed to get stuck in one state and feel like, I have cracked it, this is it, this is where I'm at, and this is where I'm stopping, and everything else rides on, this is my perception of reality.
Mm-hmm.
You keep going and you keep asking questions. Now, when we get into studying spirituality and Gnosticism and metaphysics and whatever else you want to add into that, we talk about overcoming duality. We got 7 hermetic principles, and they are all talking about, in some form or fashion, overcoming duality. If I take the stance that there is something other that is holding me down, that is the same basic motif as the religious person that I laugh at. Because the religious person is functioning on the idea that there is a good guy and there's a bad guy.
Mm.
And based on the religion you're in, you're on the good team fighting against the bad team. Well, if I take the mindset that I'm trapped down here, then that means there has to be something trying to trap me. Then that means, although I have reversed the roles and now I have identified with what the religion would call the bad guy, I identify with him.
Right.
And I say that what the religion calls the good guy, I have reversed the role and said he's the actual, or it is the actual villain. All I've done is change the characters, but I still have a religious mind because I am still living in duality. C. Freeman taught that The mystery of the Great Pyramid of Egypt was good, evil, G for good, E for evil, P for perfect. GPE, Great Pyramid of Egypt. So, what is the perfection? The perfection is to be on the middle,
Yeah,
because I see both sides and I can weigh them out. Okay.
right.
So, if I stay stuck in the mindset that all of this is my enemy and it's trying to hold me down, then I can maybe miss the fact that this is very possibly a school. Now, the word hell and school mean the same thing. School becomes Sheol, shell, hell. So we talk about supposedly you go to prison for rehabilitation. Okay. And we used to hear people say, do the time, don't let the time do you.
Right.
You know? So juxtapose that with school. When I went back to college to finish my degree, all right, when I got there, I'm 38 years old. I'm studying all the occult metaphysical stuff. Every day I show up in class, I'm ready to debate. I'm going to show these motherfuckers they don't know shit. Okay? And I'm living off of I'm getting the Pell Grant. That's really why I was there, to get the Pell Grant. And I'm showing up every day to debate these professors, and I'm going to let them know they don't know shit. So what happened is I finally, and every day I come home, tell my wife, I'm so sick of this. I can't, all these professors don't know shit. They're up here brainwashing these kids, and the kids sit in class. They don't want to know no real knowledge, and da. And what happened is I was in school, and I got to the point where I'm graduating, and I hadn't taken advantage of the opportunity I had being in school. Meaning, I know it's a bunch of bullshit going on, but what can I get out of it? I could have done an internship. I could have had a minor, so that it would have been easier for me to transition into coming out and making some good money. But I spent all my time lamenting about how fucked up the school was, how fucked up the system was, how fucked up the professors was, how stupid all the students was. And I missed key opportunities to where I graduate and I'm working at HelloFresh in the warehouse with some stupid motherfucker who on a power trip telling me to stack up some fucking lettuce and some arugula. Now take that and imagine if this is all a school that we're in. Yeah, we got some oppressive chancellors who are running it, oppressive deans, oppressive professors, all types of assholes who are running this thing, and we see it as fucked up. But if I sit and focus all my attention on how fucked up the school is, then I might miss the opportunity I had to extract the jewels out of it while I'm in there. That's all I'm trying to say about this whole perspective is, look, you are already God. You are already perfect. We are here to allow ourselves to be imperfect for an experience or a series of experiences until we return back, you know, to the Godhead. That's just what the fuck do I know? It's just my little, outlook. But I used to be card carrying. I used to be on Blog Talk. You know, the only answer is destruction. You know, um, and to a degree, I still hold that. But it's like you destroy to build, though. Destruction is the precursor to building. And if I'm only looking to destroy because I feel like is it just a response to me feeling like I don't have no fucking control? You know what I'm saying? I'm frustrated because it's not fair. I don't have no control. I don't see no other way. You know what I'm saying? Or can I just try to expand and see the bigger picture? Then that's just where I'm at 44 years old. Because at 38, I wasn't on none of this. Yeah, I didn't see it that way. Sometimes you just got to keep living, and hopefully keep learning.
Great build. Nas has a song called "Build and Destroy" too. Dope song.
Mm.
Yep.
So, you got anything else, brother? Brother Dap?
That was a nice bow, good brother.
What's that?
So that was a nice bow.
Oh, yeah. So put
Yep.
a stick of fork in it.
Yeah. Just on the music real quick. We got the as Jamal said last week, we got the studio time scheduled. July 8th. We'll be dropping 2 singles. Figure This and El Flamenco.
Mm-hmm.
And just want to circle back with the if you want to support the music, you can hit us on the Cash App or the PayPal's running in the banner. For those who donate, your name will be in the credits of the music moving forward. So we got MJ, Young E, and I forget the third gentleman, Jason. They will
Or Jay
get
Smith, I think. Jay Smith.
Jay Smith. They will be on the credits on the Bandcamp. So when you go to the Bandcamp to listen to the song or purchase or what have you, their name will be there as contributors. And if anyone would like to do that and have that shout out, like I said, the Cash App or the PayPal, and we'll, obviously we'll still be putting in. So it's just to get more music out faster, and also to help build the brand of Think Music. We would like to move into merch and also move into getting CDs and records printed up, and sell those things also. And on the CD or the record jacket, your name will be on there too if you donate. So it'll be a nice piece of art, because I feel like we deal in high science, and our music is very artful, and it'll be a nice piece to have physically. So be on the lookout for that. But July 8th, he goes in, and hopefully we come out with some bangers. And then after that, we would like to drop the EP Monaco Visions. Something we've talked about on the past podcast also. And that will be the next endeavor, possibly after these 2 singles. So stay tuned, music coming. We're very excited with these next 2 singles coming out and the Monaco Visions project. Very excited for you all to hear that. And that's all I got, man, on the music front.
Yeah, check us out. We're gonna be early part of July. That's just a couple weeks from now.
Yep. And for
And
those who haven't, I'm sorry, real quick, for those who haven't, check us out, www.thinkmusic.bandcamp.com. Bunch of music on there. We also have music on the streaming services. And you can check us out there. I was just on DistroKid, and someone really enjoys Audio Templo because on Apple it has like 124 streams. So yeah, so someone likes it. And but yeah, check us out on the streaming services. If you want to purchase our music through Bandcamp, the money come directly to us through Bandcamp. So if you want to support us that way, and if you want to support us just through streaming, man, add us to one of your playlists or something, and and rock out with us. We're really putting thought and positive energy behind this music, and we're gonna continue to do that. My bad, bro.
no, you're good. That's all I got. And for those of you who interested in having your chart read, birth chart reading,
Mm-hmm.
you can go over to Masters of the Cosmos .com. Let's see. And you can learn more. If you enter in the code chosen in the for a discount code, you can enter chosen, CHOSEN, and you can get I think it's 25% off your reading. So check it out over there. And I just want to thank everybody. Shout out again to Brother Williams. Happy solar return.
Peace, bro.
Shout out to MJ, Anthony X,
Keep pushing.
Brianna in the building. Go ahead.
No, I just said keep pushing, Anthony. He said what he was, he's 30, still learning and been trotting on this path for a minute. I just said keep pushing.
Yeah, and the most important thing there is he said still learning.
Yes.
And that's what we all supposed to, we all still learning, good brother.
Yep.
Let's see who else we got here. Nene. Shout out to Nene and Sears Biz.
Yep. Leonard Robinson, Triple JC, and
Devon
yep.
Birdie.
And Nia LaShawn.
Nia. I think that's everybody, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all rocking with us. And we're gonna catch y'all on the top side.
Indeed.
And remember, think music. Peace.